So you're watching the draft and you're sure that your team blew the first round. There's no need to sell the season tickets yet because history has proven there's still a chance there's an all-star waiting in the second round. I'm Patrick Davis, and here are the top 10 second-round draft picks in NBA history. A couple of notes. We didn't include players that went to the ABA like George Gervin, Spencer Haywood, and Artis Gilmore. We also left off a number of foreign players who slipped because they would likely never come to America, like Oscar Schmidt, Drazen Petrovic, and Arvydas Sabonis. Finally, guys like Isaiah Thomas, DeAndre Jordan, and Goran Dragic may crack the list in the future, but right now it's just too soon to tell. Finally, we have some honorable mentions. Danny Ainge, Bill Laimbeer, Mark Eaton twice, Nick Van Exel, Carlos Boozer, Paul Millsap, Michael Redd, and Rashard Lewis prove that there can be plenty of talent in the second round. They just didn't crack our top 10. With that out of the way, let's get to the list. Number 10, Maurice Cheeks. Selected number 36 overall in 1978 by the Philadelphia 76ers, Cheeks went to the small college of West Texas A&M, but made a name for himself in the NBA with 4 All-Star appearances, 4 times All-Defensive First Team, and a championship in 1983. Cheeks averaged 11.1 points and 6.7 assists over his 15 seasons, and immediately went into coaching after the 93 season, where he's been ever since. Number 9, Draymond Green. Selected number 35 overall in 2012 by the Golden State Warriors, Green was an undersized power forward out of Michigan State who nobody was sold on making it in the NBA. A player always with a chip on his shoulder, he made his first All-Star game in 2016 and has already been named to the All-Defensive First Team twice. Green got off to a slow start in his first couple of seasons, waiting his time before cracking the starting lineup in 2014 when David Lee suffered an injury, and he never relinquished it, becoming a large part of the Warriors' success in their 2015 championship and record-breaking 73-win season. Number 8, Gilbert Arenas. Selected number 31 overall in 2001 by the Golden State Warriors, Arenas was a point guard shooting guard tweener that people didn't trust to handle the ball. He only played for Golden State for 2 seasons before leaving when the Warriors, who were up against a salary cap, couldn't match the offers from other teams. The league has since adopted a provision to help teams retain second-round draft picks called the Gilbert Arenas provision. After leaving the Warriors, he allegedly picked the Wizards via coin flip. Arenas was a 3-time All-Star before he was arrested and suspended on gun charges in 2009. His career never fully recovered. Arenas averaged 20.7 points per game over 11 seasons. Number 7, Marc Gasol. Selected number 48 overall in 2007 by the Los Angeles Lakers, Marc Gasol was first introduced to the NBA audience as part of a trade for his brother Pau. Fans' backlash was so strong as they felt the Lakers had screwed the Grizzlies, giving them a no-name in Marc. The reaction to this trade was cited as the main reason the league vetoed a later trade of Chris Paul to the Lakers. Marc has proved he's no slouch, with 2 All-Star appearances, being named to the All-NBA First Team in 2015, and winning Defensive Player of the Year in 2013. He's averaged 14.3 points and 7.8 rebounds over his first 8 seasons. Number 6, Alex English. Selected number 23 overall in 1976 by the Milwaukee Bucks, English being passed over by every team fits him as what some people describe as the most underrated player in NBA history. English was stuck on a rebuilding Bucks team until he was traded for George McGinnis in a hugely one-sided deal for Denver. McGinnis only played 1 more season in the NBA, while English racked up 8 All-Star appearances and went on to become the Nuggets' all-time leading scorer. He averaged 21.5 points per game during his 15-season career, finally getting some respect when he was inducted in the Naismith Hall of Fame in 1997. Number 5, Manu Ginobili. Selected number 57 overall in 1999 by the San Antonio Spurs, Manu is the latest pick on our list, selected with the second to last pick. Ginobili has impacted the NBA in numerous ways, including popularizing the Eurostep, having an all-star come off the bench, and by convincing other teams to drastically improve their overseas scouting. Ginobili has been a huge part of the Spurs dynasty for the past 14 NBA seasons, and just goes to show that the best player in the draft isn't always the first pick. Number 4, Dennis Johnson. Selected number 29 overall in 1976 by the Seattle Supersonics, Johnson came out of college with a reputation for being a troublemaker. He was clearly worth the risk, proving himself with his tenacious defense and winning the Finals MVP when bringing a title to Seattle in 1979. After a devastating Finals loss the next season, his tension with head coach Lenny Wilkens spilled over, and he was traded to the Suns. Clashing with his head coach again, he was traded once more to the Boston Celtics, where he would win 2 more NBA championships. Johnson finished his career a 5-time All-Star, 6-time All-Defensive First Teamer, and a 2010 Hall of Fame inductee. Johnson will go down in history as one of the greatest defenders of all time. Number 3, Dennis Rodman. Selected number 27 overall in 1986 by the Detroit Pistons, Rodman clearly didn't take the normal path to success. Coming from a rough childhood, Rodman was not a well-known commodity coming out of college. He was thrown into the midst of the Pistons' bad boys teams and learned the ropes from veterans like Bill Laimbeer. After Chuck Daly left the Pistons, Rodman was lost and made a choice to live his life the way he wanted. He demanded a trade and was sent to San Antonio, where his flamboyant side first started to show. He didn't mix well with David Robinson and the straight-laced Spurs. I mean, seriously, just look at the hair, the wedding dress, all this on the Admirals team. No wonder he was traded. Rodman was sent to the Bulls, where he won 3 more NBA championships. Rodman finished his career a 2-time All-Star, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, and a 7-time rebounding champion, with an average of 14.1 rebounds per game over his career. Number 2, Nate Archibald. Selected number 19 overall in 1970 by the Cincinnati Royals, Nate Tiny Archibald's poor grades landed him in community college. He then transferred to UTEP his sophomore season. As one of the great all-time passers and scorers, Archibald managed to lead the NBA in both assists and points in 1973. He spent time with the Kings, Nets, and Braves over the next few years, but injuries drastically cut short his playing time. Tiny was then traded to the Celtics, where after a rough start, won his only NBA championship with the young Larry Bird in 1981. Archibald finished his career a 6-time All-Star and 3-time All-NBA first-teamer, averaging 18.8 points and 7.4 assists per game over his career. He was inducted in the Naismith Hall of Fame in 1991. Number 1, Willis Reed. Selected number 8 overall in 1964 by the New York Knicks. Reed wasn't exactly a surprisingly late pick, but with territorial picks, he was passed over by all 9 teams in the NBA at the time. Reed was the embodiment of the Knicks during his 10-year career, perhaps best known for his legendary 1970 season, where he won the All-Star Game MVP, regular season MVP, and Finals MVP. This season also had the iconic moment where Reed, who had been injured in Game 5, dramatically made his entrance to warm-ups before Game 7 to a roar of the crowd. Sure, he only scored 4 points in that game, but who am I to let facts get in the way of a good story? Reed was a 7-time All-Star, 2-time champion, 2-time Finals MVP, and averaged 18.7 points and 12.9 rebounds per game over his 10-year career. So that's our list of the best second-round picks in NBA draft history. Did we miss any? Got the order wrong? Tell us in the comments below and yell at me on Twitter at It's Patrick Davis. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned to Sports Talk AM 1300 The Zone.